Hey everybody, Brad Linder back at you again with another card of the day. Going to be doing Kilowog from the Green Lantern Corps today, and sharing this over with the page and the channel as always. And bear with me just a second when we rack that up so everybody can join in. Cool deal. And now I am going to knock this bad boy out. I really dig Kilowog. He is one of my favorite Green Lanterns. I am partial to the character because of the fact that he is one of the true brute forces in the Green Lantern universe that doesn't really get the prep, the background, the exposure, pretty much any of that he needs to exist as a prime character, which kind of is upsetting. But I don't know. I think this guy's going to get a huge push, especially with the rumors that Warner Brothers is talking about Hal Jordan coming into the Green Lantern position for the Justice League movies. But then there is also a huge, massive rumor floating around that Kilowog could be the one that comes to Earth and substitutes a while for the discovery of John Stewart. And I would definitely see that movie if they did that. I love the CGI they did with the Ryan Reynolds version of the movie with Kilowog. I thought he looked great. And I would not be against that. I really would not be. Don't know if they're going to do that or not. But who knows? It's Warner Brothers. They could do a Disney Marvel thing and totally create a new version of something. They've been sticking original to the concept, even though they did twist things up a little bit, or move around for age purposes and stuff like that. And we'll see how it goes. But I would love to see that happen, because the cool thing about DC Comics that Warner Brothers has taken into serious cinematic consideration with the process that they're doing is they follow the DC universe pretty solid, because of the fact that the way they do things is they'd like to jump around and then fill in the story later. They like to get you going on in the main film concept, then they get you going into the backstory of the characters, and you pick stuff up as you go along, which I really like that, because that's the way that the Golden Age universe of DC was developed, with primarily all of these characters that we see in these films as the Justice League goes, with the world's finest trinity of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, not necessarily in that order. And Green Lantern, you have Green Lantern come in, you have Green Arrow come in, which with the Arrow series, they're definitely not going to touch that in the movie universe, I don't think. However, they did prove us wrong with that by crossing over the Flash. There is the Flash, of course, himself. And then there are other characters like Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, so many more. Shazam coming out, which was Captain Marvel, which funny enough, Captain Marvel was a crossover. Shazam, DC's version of Captain Marvel, is their own in-house version, just like Plastic Man, but he is a public domain character, and I have my own incarnation of that as well for Firestone Comics, called Only the Strong, where we will see Captain Marvel, known as just Marvel, in that comic book coming up. And we're going to see a lot of cool stuff coming out of it. But, they have their own version of that, and I'm really cool with it. I have a version of Plastic Man coming up as well, which is going to be awesome. But we'll see what happens. And with them reintroducing it into the DC universe, I'm not sure if I really want to go there with that Plastic Man idea, but we'll see. Because the book is in development, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I would love to see Kilowog in his own standalone film and part of the Justice League. That would be phenomenal. They're probably not going to do that because they're doing the Green Lantern Corps film. It's supposed to be a standalone film of its own, where they've separated the universe off into sectors, and they're bringing that out. So we'll have to wait and see what exactly comes of it. But like I said, Kilowog is still my absolute favorite Green Lantern of all. Hal Jordan is a close second, but yeah, I really, really dig this character, and I don't think he's got his due yet. He's always been shown as a brute force character, and I don't think that's really cool, in my opinion. I like to see things get further developed. Hey, Ted, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And I'm hoping this guy gets to pick up a little more action than he has had, but we'll see. Now, I'm making this go over this pink with this orange because he's got like a, I don't necessarily want to say a pig type of face, but he has this weird pig-like skin, which is the closest thing that a human can understand, which is this orange, pink, fleshy looking thing going on. And that's what I'm putting in here to make it reminiscent of. I don't want to go do the brown hide that they did originally in the films, but I don't want to go as far as the fleshy brown color that they went with the comic books, because it just doesn't do him justice. I like the tones and the hues that come out in this, so that's what we're going with. And it's also picking up just a little bit of graphite as we go along that I left on the edges for this purpose, to kind of smudge it out and pull it in just a little bit. Not too much, but just to give it kind of a rough texture and make him look, a little gritty and a little more in sync with what's going on, rather than just being one flat universal color. So I like the fact that I can use that graphite to add natural smudges and grays and things like that in there as I go along. It's an art technique I picked up along the way, and some people may not like it, but I do, because of the fact that it pulls, like I said, that natural smooth grit type of smudge into it, and it washes around in the colors just a little bit with these pencils, but not too much to where it shows up, like a nasty streak kind of thing. So there we go. We have that cool texture going on. And now, I know he has brown eyes, but in this case, I'm going to light him up, and I'm going to give him some teal eyes because of the fact that I want to show up the Green Lantern power, which lights up in all of them. And I want to have that energy running through him in this. So that's why I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put that as the base green, this bright, nice, almost electric teal kind of green in the ring symbol here on his chest for the logo. And then I'm going to pull in some darker greens to tone things up a little bit, but I want it to be as bright as possible. So that's just this character, and I really want to bring it up because these highlight zones here are going to be green, and then I've got a nice green yellow that I'm going to go over with the overglow around him. So we're going to do that. But I really dig this green because it's almost electric. It's very vibrant, very bright, and energetic. And it doesn't go flat, it doesn't go too dark, which a lot of people kill their Green Lanterns with the greens being way too dark. I mean, it just, they either look too neon to where they wash out the image, or they look too dull where it just doesn't really contrast and help provide an impact for the character. I want this to be, on the other hand, with us having a nice bright Kilowog, especially with that dull pigtone look of his face, in the color range. So now I'm going to grab this very cool bright green here, and I'm going to go around him and we're going to have this kind of swishing motion, as it were. I'm just going to kind of fill this in just a little bit and make this energy kind of force field around him, and then fill that in close to him. It's going to be kind of like a green energy or a green flame, but I want it to be more of an energy, so I'm going to keep the tails short on these to keep them, you know, close to his body and looking more like energy flowing off rather than having the crop tail and all that good stuff, you know, from what are they called? I don't want it to look tribal, is my thing. I want it to look like a natural energy flame. I don't want it to look tribal with the crops and snips and all that. And that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want it to look like a tribal pattern on a vehicle or a tattoo kind of thing. I want it to look very cool, very fluid. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go right in here with his eyes, so it looks like it's overcoating him just a little bit. I'm not going to go green haze everything because that'll wash it out, and I don't want to do that. But what I will do is put it on the whites to make it kind of look like he's got the green energy going over him, kind of deal like that. And then up here, I'm going to kind of wash in this darker green fluid color here, just because of the fact that I want it to look a little more symbolic of him being a Green Lantern. And then when that dries, this the edge of these pencils should come through a lot better. So kind of rough that up a little bit. There we go. Cool deal. Now with that underway, I want to pull in a little bit darker green to do some of the accents. And like I said, just for shadow purposes, touching base a little bit, which will pull that upper green into it a little bit more too. But I don't want to wash it out, and I don't want to crush out that nice bright teal. So what I'm doing is I'm coming in with just a green to make it pop, and that will be the end of this one because I do not want to muddy up the water here. I want to keep this very simple. So now I'm going to go in here just a little, kind of feathering through to make it look a little more fluid. Kind of touching base on that a little bit to make it look like it's coming off of him. There we go. Cool deal. And with that said, I'm going to grab, or I'm going to try and grab my black here, if it's handy. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to shade in a little bit of this just to make him pop. Just to mute that down a little. Not too much, just a little bit. Kind of add a little bit of pop to him, a little bit of dimension. But the key thing is to not overdo this. Just touch it here and there. You want it to look like flesh, not texture it like leather or, you know, hard skins. You want it to look like a soft flesh, like he would have a hide, but not unpenetrable or, you know, an armor kind of thing, because you don't want it to look so hard that it looks different, like it's not textured like flesh. Because so many people go in and make it look like he's, you know, wearing a mask almost like rubber, and you can't do that and have that same look. It just doesn't work. So there we go. We have right underneath this trim here of the lip. I'm going to darken that up a little bit so he looks like he's got that going on. Make that snout look a little rougher right up in here in the wrinkles. and we're going to call that a day and call that Kilowog. So I know this one's late. Sorry about that, guys. I've been working with YouTube and Facebook to get some videos up and get some content out for the new sites that are launching this weekend. Thank goodness they're finally up and done. It took 11 days for the new Facebook process, or the new Google process to process these websites. I've never had them take that long to get indexed, but they do it manually now with the submission process. And then they go in and say, okay, you got the automated process. We've approved to this point. We've crawled it. We've run the scans. Now we need a physical human to go in and approve it. They click the button. Then they go through another process and recrawl it, make sure there are no errors. And then they go back and have the human process that again. So it took 11 days to get my sites processed. It was crazy. And now they're ranking and indexing and all that good stuff, and I'm populating them with the content, switching it all on now that they're up there. So, because Google will slap you with that if you put a bunch of content in there, you know, and you have a couple hundred links go live all at one time. They don't like that because then it looks like you're stuffing the website so that you can rank instantly, and they will de-index and debunk your site right then and say, well, you screwed up. So that's the reason for the delay. The first thing up is the Night of the Living Dead comic book. I am working on that so hard to get those links up for you guys. But as always, we're going to wrap this up. I'll go into more of that later. You guys can check it out. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. As far as this goes, thank you, Mr. West. I appreciate it. For the guys that can't see this over on YouTube because it's Facebook comment, Kevin P. West says, looking good, Mr. Linder, which I appreciate, sir. Thank you very much. And as always, you guys hang out, enjoy this stuff, watch my videos. Thank you for all the support. We're almost at the year mark for this thing and got way more cool stuff to come. So hang in with me. And as always, we have this little rock for a little while. Let's leave it better for the next generation and make it a much cooler place to hang around. Hopefully without a kind of a natural disaster or ice age storm to chill it out, but you know what I mean. We'll talk to you later.